Good morning. Quick sound check. Can everybody hear me okay? Just a little thumbs up will do. Morning, James. How's it going? Hope you're well, mate. Marvellous. Cool. So thanks, guys. Thanks for jumping in. Yeah, I guess this is a bit of an introduction, I guess, to the way that I run the graphics for the Chapman streams for James PlanetFPL there. Morning, Ram. Morning, Andrew. Hopes all is well. Good. Thanks for the feedback. Cool. So yeah, what I'm going to do is essentially going to talk you through how we do things, how we run the streams every week, twice a week, and I guess a bit of background on it, how we started, and then what I'll do is I'll set up the game week for for Saturday, for tomorrow. It's going to be an emotional time. It's been a hell of a game, and it's been amazing to be part of it. So before I go to that, for those of you who have, I'm sure you know me from the clicky buttons and the sometimes funny text I put in the graphics every week is I'm Chris, otherwise known as FPLKaptain. So yeah, thanks for coming along. I wasn't sure there'd be a lot of interest in this, but I've had a few messages over the last couple of months or so, just people asking about how I got into this or how you essentially do the graphics. There's a lot of people out there who have their own projects in mind and want to do sort of things themselves. So hopefully this helps. We've been doing this now for best part 35 game weeks. So yeah, we've tuned it down to a fine art. So it'd be excited to show you guys how we get along. So let's get started. I mean, essentially, what is I've got an uh-oh from Andy. What does that mean? Does that mean I'm good? I'm okay? Maybe worries. So I'll break it down into two parts. So essentially what we've got is the graphics platform, and then I guess the data monkey behind it, which is a Google Sheet, which I'll take you through in a bit. So the program I use, and you've seen it in the streams, it's in the bottom right corner. It's a little watermark as it pops up. It's called singular.live. It's a free web-based graphics control app. And what you can see is essentially the dashboard, or I guess the director's site of where I run it from each week. So what it is, you see a load of icons on the left. You can see the actual I guess what we call the output on the right. So this is what gets overlaid onto James's stream. His camera's in the background, and I guess it's worth noting that James has zero control over any of this. This was a real exercise in trust, especially because I barely spoke to him beforehand, and all of a sudden he's left all of this wonderful text and space for me to put what I want in. But no, I think we've been pretty good with it so far. I say so far, I've only got 1 week to go. So outputs there. So these are all my little tools, if you like. You can kind of recognize some of these basically what we call layers. Global data, this sort of talks about makes the color all the same for all of the different graphics. The little social banner in the top left, and we've got the ticker, which is the scrolling bar along the bottom, and then the scores on the right hand side basically encompasses everything that's down there. And then we've got the video printer. So then underneath here is something I update each week, which are the fixtures, and these are my goal alerts. So to give you an idea of what I'm doing when the stream is on, is I've got 3 screens in front of me. I've got my laptop hooked up to a monitor, and I've got another laptop which has got James's stream running, so I can see it in real time, make sure it's not doing anything weird. But then on one monitor I've got TweetDeck up, which updates Twitter live. So as soon as the Chapman guys put a goal up, I scramble to find the right fixture and hit the play button. What that does is then that gives me plays for 6 seconds an automatic graphic that says goal. So the easy thing, and one of the best things about Singular, is that once you create the graphics, everything that goes, all the text and everything that goes within the graphics can be completely updated on the fly. So I'll go into this a little bit more when we go when I bring the graphics up later. But yeah, this is just give you an idea of this initial screen. You've then got the stats that roll around in the bottom right hand corner. So as you can kind of see, it's like a little progress bar here, which is each of the stats are on 15-second timers, and they're essentially set to rotate. So each time everyone runs round, it then flicks it out the screen, brings the next one in. Simple as that. So as soon as we go live, I don't touch any of this. This all completely updates itself, and that's where I'll come into with the giant Google sheet that I've made that kind of deals with all of this. So this then talks about your league table, ownership, captaincy, all of the things we update each week. So something that I guess that we started with, we obviously didn't start with all of this. Morning guys, morning Adam, morning Joe, hope you're well guys. So yeah, we did start with all of this. We started with just some scores on the right hand side and the ticker along the bottom, to be honest, because that's all I could do. I'd never really used this tool before, it's brand new to me. Purely really thought about it as a way to, you know, how can we bring Soccer Saturday to Champman? But then, yeah, you probably, if you're thinking sort of, if James is streaming, he's going to have to do a load of clicking buttons and typing. It's probably not going to work. Could somebody do it from remotely? Not even necessarily thinking that would be myself. So it all just like kind of fell in. I had to play with it. It seemed to work. And I gave James a shout, and he obviously gave me the shot to do it. So at that time, everything was super manual. So you can see on the right hand side down here, so this is my score center, if you like. So this is where I've got the game week, the half, the marvelous timer that has overtaken my life. Yeah, I didn't think you'd be impressed with that, James. And then your scores, then things like text color, how to change the background so when we turn them red, we can quickly do that here. So it's essentially all ready to go. We just need to hit a couple of buttons and click update. So I'll do that in a bit for you. But when we started, I was literally going down the list of fixtures, going, okay, yeah, that's 1-0, yeah, that one there, yeah, that's 0-0, and it came very apparent very quickly that I needed something to automate this. Especially as I think in that game week we had a lot of goals as well. Game week 4, game week 5. So yeah, all of a sudden it's like, right, we need to do something about this. The tools are set up, the graphics are set up, we just need to find a way to automate it. So that is where my Google Sheet comes into it. So this is, anyone who's used Google Sheets, just a cloud version of Excel. So lots of formulas, lots of calculations, and I guess this is where this is what I do. I guess as a day job, I play with lots of numbers, I play with lots of insight and sort of dragging raw data out. So I'm pretty familiar with it. What I set out to try and do is just try and automate as much of this as possible. Especially you've seen how some of the games go. Hey buddy, it's my son, you could probably hear him. Just try to automate as much as possible. Yeah, goals are flying in, sometimes through 2-3 goals in the same couple of minutes. You need to quickly do something. So this is just the first. This is I guess the game week live tab. So this is the one for game week 37. It looks like there's a lot going on here, doesn't it? So it's quite interesting because everything is I've just tried to automate. So let's take all of these fixtures down here. So each week I'll just update each of the teams as they line up for the game week. And then all I essentially need to do is type in the goal scorers and the minutes here and the assists along the right column. So let's say it's Chelsea, and Zola stuck in a goal in the 10th minute, and trying to think, Carboni, who's done nothing for me, can go in as an assist. That'd be nice. So automatically, it's added a 1 to my score. for Chelsea. That's also added it up here. And it's also added it over here. So it's all designed to link together so that all I need to do when a goal goes in is highlight everything in blue, quick copy, and a quick paste into the scores there. You can see it's just added the 1 on the top there. So then as soon as I hit update, good to go. Second bit is the ticker. So all of this formula, it looks really messy. It looks like madness, but all it actually does is adds all of these cells together for each team, for each fixture, and sticks them in one row. So I hope that kind of makes sense. So essentially, again, all I need to do is copy all of that, go over to my ticker. Luckily, you only have to click in it once and it highlights the whole thing, so you don't need to delete it. And update, and that's it. That's a goal updated. So every time a goal goes in, I do that. So then as we scroll down, this is our wonderful video printer. Ignore the stuff on the left, that comes into play before we've kicked off so that the scores don't come up. So this is where everything then, or every time a goal goes in, sorry, I quickly update it here. It sounds like it's a really long process, doesn't it? I think it takes about 15 seconds to update everything for each goal. So again, this is all set up to run pretty automatically. All I need to do is put in the goal scorer, the assister, the fixture, and then I very quickly need to tell Google Sheets who scored, whether it's the home or the away team. Otherwise, what comes up is this basically adds the color to the team that scored. It does all this with some sort of trickery over here, which is quite cool. I've been very proud of this. If I'm honest, it's turned out, it has worked out really well. So again, I would just type in Solar, Carboni, Chelsea were away, weren't they? So as soon as I type in Aston Villa, it fills in the score, and then I just need to say yes to Chelsea, and that is then where you think it's complicated so far. It goes into the much more complicated side, which is when Google actually plugs into Singular. So I hope I've not lost anyone so far. I'm trying to keep this not as dry as possible. So that's it. That's the goals. That's essentially what we do every time a goal goes in. I guess the only other thing, if it's one of the more popular goal scorers, I've got a tab here for player stats, which gives me a list of every single player. To be honest, the only thing we need to worry about here is the goals, the assists, which I add up every single goal that's gone in, and then I use the wonderful Whitebeard's support, who sends me like a raw data file at the end of each week, or beginning of each game week, sorry, to make sure I got the data in the right place, make sure I'm not missing any, and yeah, absolute legend, that man, for what he's done and brought to the game. So massive thanks to him. So all I would do is type in your goal scorer and just stick an extra goal in, and do the same for the assists. So why do I do that? So that is where then like your top goal scorer and top assists come in, and I guess the link that comes in from between Google Sheets and Singular, which is a slightly less complicated site, but actually all this does is it puts the information in the right place for Singular to then draw it out and add it into the graphic. So this is how this stuff changes this is how stuff changes, like almost not quite instantly, but within sort of 20-30 seconds. So this is the stuff that doesn't need that immediate updating. So goal scorers will be automatically ranked in terms of highest to lowest, and it will rank the top 10 here, and same with assists over here. And again, that is all automated, so I don't touch any of this. I think the only time I have to touch it is when these goal scorers go up. So for when we've got extra goal scorers, if you like, yeah, that tells me we haven't got any more than 2 goal scorers on 12, so I don't need to change that. So that all looks good. Fixtures, we've only got 1 fixture left, which is really sad, which is Gameweek38. So I'm not going to be using this one anymore, which is super sad. But essentially all I did, I just pop again just add the fixtures in. It could be whatever I want, and that automatically sends it all to singular. So it kind of needed to do this, and without the plugin that Singular introduced for Google Sheets, couldn't do this. I think we did 1 week actually of fixtures without this, and it just looked a bit of a mess. Everything looked really cramped. So I was really glad they brought that in. And then it meant that we could make things a little bit easier when it came to the everyday stats. So things like transfers in and out, I update these through Tala's work that he does. He's Tal_Nadim90. Before each game week, he sends me through all the stats for transfers in, out, ownership, captains, so that I can then ping them over to James. Probably realise, I think we already thought about this last week, that you could probably have been in that group chat, James. I know you mute all of them, but might have been a quicker route, if you like. Glad we figured that out now. So as soon as all of those come in, I update them, change the ownership numbers, change the captaincy numbers, and again, that's it. Don't need to touch them. They will rotate round on the graphics. Simple as you like. So the last little bit over here, which updates itself automatically, is the video printer, which actually is just this. It doesn't really look like much. I updated some of the live EFL games when they were Premier League games when they were going on here, but this is all the video printer does. So actually, every time you add in a new goal, it updates this, which again just then pings it straight to singular. Whew. Okay, that's a lot to deal with. I get it. And this all wasn't built at once. We built it out very, very incrementally. So I've got all the game weeks here. So yeah, I've got game week 5. I think 4 was the first one we did manually, and then I built this. So the little goal score assist bit, red cards, missed penalties, etc. That is kind of all been pretty much in place since we started the graphics, which is quite cool. The only time it actually messes up things when we have got double game weeks, where I'm obviously not loading the goal scorers and whatnot, so sometimes the player stats might look a little bit off. So if you the league table, this is probably the most complex part of it, purely from a design and creation point of view, because again, it's all linked into every goal that flies in. So let's say Zola stuck a couple more in and made it 3-3. Then what that will tell our league table is that Chelsea and Villa are drawing that game. So add 1 essentially to the number of games drawn, and make that for both sides. Talk about include the goals that have been scored. Take away any goals that have been conceded. Sort out your goal difference and stick your points on there. So there's obviously been a couple of occasions where this hasn't properly matched up, because I either missed a double game week from the week before or a blank game week. So yeah, wasn't it that there was a week where Man United and Borough had a double game week, and I missed something out, so I'd already somehow included in Borough's fixture that they had 3 more points than they were supposed to. And it's like, I'm sure the guys were like, nobody knows that Borough beat United in the double game week. So it was a complete fluke. I don't know why it happened, but hopefully that didn't throw off a few people. Apologies if it made anyone mad. So yeah, that's the league table. So that is the most complex bit. It changes essentially if the league table looks different to how it did last week, which is this bit here, then it tells me if their ranks change, which uploads a picture of a green arrow or a red arrow. So essentially this is just the Excel side of me, if you like, which builds all of this, which, yeah, I would say this is probably the coolest bit, and yeah, changes the colour. So next week tomorrow rather, should have United up in gold up the top. I need to tweak something to do that. So yeah, that's all then good. Something I've only recently highlighted and recently realised is that I've been tracking every goal scorer essentially since most of the start of the game. So can I use that to my advantage? So I've shared a few bits of this where essentially I can look up very quickly teams essentially in their history. So I put in a team there, and it will come back with all of their previous week's fixtures. I haven't gone all the way back, so it might not be totally relevant. So yeah, this has, I guess, helped to make my mind up on a couple of transfers. To be honest, since I've been using this, I've had 3 massive red arrows, so I can't say it's worked. But yeah, it's been quite cool to have this data in one place, and I might make a bit more use of it when if we do get a season 2. I'm playing, but yeah, like I said, it's been my game has been a car crash since I started using this, but just a good idea into a cool little shot of some of the things you can do with all the data there. So that is gameweek 37 and how it was all set up. What I guess what I'm not going to do is go into the absolute extract all the detail of how the API links into Singular. I can quickly show you what it looks like in the program itself, but to be honest, if you're not familiar with it, it won't really make sense. So I'll try and keep it as light as possible. And then if anybody wants to go into a bit of detail, I know HeavyThinker7, I know you had you wanted to have a look at that integration. I can quickly gloss over it, and then yeah, feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to go through it in a bit more detail. So let's get game week 38 set up so you can kind of see how we do it. I think that's everything I was gonna immediately run through. Yeah, let's do that. Cool. So just try and keep things easy by just duplicating what I've done before. No point starting again. Oops. Game week 38. Let's get rid of all our goal scorers. All our assists. Although I nearly, do you see that? If we ever have more than more than 4 assists in a game, I'm in trouble. I run out of room. Same with goal scorers. We've never actually ever run over that. We've always had. So luckily, Q all got two here, but we've never actually ran over that. So trust the last game week of the season to do that and stress me out. Not sure how I'd do that. So we bin all of these off. Get rid of Aranio's red card. You're right, Andy. I do need to add the United Everton result. This makes it. I'll do that very quickly. Double game week 37. I forgot who were home. Who were at home? Is it United or Everton at home? Why do I think it was the other way around? Let's have just bringing up the tweets. If anybody can remember goal scorers and whatnot. To be honest, actually, it doesn't matter for the sake of this. It was Everton at home. Thanks, James. Everton. It wasn't it like Veron scored, and then was it Giggs? And then Abel Xavier got one back. Oh no, it was 3, wasn't it? Andy Cole. Let's just do that. Is it Xavier? Veron assisted York. Giggs Neville. So Neville, York, sorry, and Bex. Cool. So I don't really need to worry about the ticker and all that. Just need to have the game down there. So what I'll do. So yeah, at the moment you see Man United are still on the league table with 36. I need to copy all of this into last week's table, if you like. I'll then change my little feed. I'll tell it it's double game week. I should only pull in the United score. Yup. That updates. So it should be on 82 for United. We are indeed 73, 72, 65. Just got that up. Cool. So that then turns into last week's league table. So we are all on 37. Excellent. What I'll do is I will tell all of this it's not kickoff. So if I change these to no, you notice it essentially turns off the ticker, so that it's not adding it already into next week's league table. Right. Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, I think I've got that. Right. What I've now annoyingly done is included 2 extra goals for Chelsea, because I've just added these in here. Actually, wasn't it 3? I'll change that. Change that another time. Right. GW38. Spin off all these. So just going to bring up on another screen friend Ben Krellin's calendar, who that's been vital just for laying out what the fixtures are. So who we got? We've got Arsenal at home to Aston Villa. I've got Blackburn at home to Sunderland. I've got Charlton at home to James's Spurs. Chelsea at Ipswich. Derby at Fulham. Everton at Southampton, where Thomas Rosinsky, please do something. I've had you in for 4 weeks now. You're making me sad. Leeds against Liverpool. Who am I missing? Leicester Bolton. Derby Day up in Tyneside. Kind of. West Ham Man United. Cool. I think that's all of them. Hey Rob, enjoyed your wrestling themed commentary the other night. Spotted the Hardy Boy references as well. So from the bottom of my heart, thanks. Well, I get it, James. There was a double game week. They had Ipswich at home, a double game week, and then Southampton at home. I thought I was about 150th ranked at the time. Thought, yeah, why not? Go for it. Easily, yeah, genuinely done nothing. And I think, Andy, you was probably going to be my move, actually. I can't keep Rebrov anymore without him hurting my soul. So that is, sorry, keeps going up and down here. So what this has done, it has automatically given me the little shorthands for these, which is good. So what I'm going to do is move over to back to my graphics platform, bit of copying and pasting. I'll stick the home teams in. Away teams. Oops. Update my scores. Let's change the color of this back to normal. The red for full time is a really complicated one. I really don't remember off the top of my head, so I have to copy and paste that from somewhere else. Cool. So I hit update, and there it goes. Actually, what I will do, yeah, let's do this live. So excuse the weirdness. There you go. So it should have the graphics up now, so you can actually see what it looks like. Timer. Bane of my life, this thing. So if you remember, so early on we had, it was essentially just like a stopwatch, which just counted up from 0. Problem is, as soon as it was all formatted to like hourly times, so as soon as you got to 60 minutes, it tipped over to an hour. So it was really, it just wasn't going to work. So I think what we did is we just had a first half timer that went up to 45 and a second half that went up to 45. But I actually reached out to the guys at Singular and said, look, is there a way of doing this? It should be fairly straightforward, right? You've got the tools there. And they actually custom built this timer widget for us, which is super cool. Considering I don't pay a penny for this, nobody does. This is just using their free kit. That's pretty cool. And I really respect these guys for that. They've been really helpful from a support standpoint. Like I say, we're just making a free little project here. And they were more than happy to put some time in to help us out. So really cool. So they built a timer that goes up to 90, as you guys can see, which is really cool. Now, oh yeah, that goal's in the video printer. Don't worry, we'll get rid of that. So I can reset that back to 0. And then essentially all I do at the start of the game week, obviously, is when the clock hits kickoff, I just hit play. So what, and I've kind of made you all think that I need to stop the timer on 45 every week because otherwise it goes over. That is and isn't strictly true. So what I need to tell the timer beforehand is this little count duration, which stops the clock, or it stops the visual of the clock changing. And that was fine. So, but unfortunately, if the timer goes over 45 minutes, it keeps on counting. It just doesn't tell you it's doing that. So there's been a few times this season where it stopped on 45. That's great, and then I have genuinely forgotten about it for a good 2 minutes until the tweet comes up saying halftime. It's like, right. So what will then happen? So I'll then remember I've paused it. I then change that to 90 minutes, and by default, the timer goes up to like 47 minutes 50. So I have to just completely ignore it, essentially ignore the kickoff timer until it rolls round. So if the timer doesn't go off at 40 on the second half immediately, it's because I've messed it up. Done that a few times, I would say. And it's like, it's a gut-wrenching thing. It's so stupid. But yeah, usually I would say 95% of the time I'm on the timer. And then when it gets to 90, it does just finish at 90. So nice and easy. But yeah, it would have caused me a lot more stress, I think, if Singular hadn't helped with that. So massive props to them. Cool. So let's reset my timer. Everything on that right-hand side now. So you can see the league table. That's now updated with 37 games. So yeah, you've seen all I've done is change that table, update the data in it, and it's already pulled that through. So super helpful. So what we got? We've got the ticker. I haven't updated the ticker yet. So I will update it with all of these, which are, it is an 8 PM kickoff, isn't it, guys? No, what am I talking about? It's Saturday. It's a Saturday. Let me change my kickoff. Then I'll just copy and paste that in here. So that will update eventually. It takes a little bit of time. It might look a little bit blocky in terms of the ticker on the stream. I'm on a bit of a weird laptop that hates moving things, so bear with us. Cool, so that's that. Video printer. So the good thing with this is that actually, because this all pulls through, I will drag my little formula to get rid of all my goals. That does all that. If I get rid of that, Tails doesn't do kickoff, and then I just write 1, 2, 3, 4, which is like line 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is where I can write whatever we like. Feels like I should write something special in here, rather than just welcome to Chatman FPL Game Week 38. Suggestions in the chat, and should be something poignant, I think. And yeah, we can have a look what goes in here. So that should eventually, if it hasn't already, it'll update the video printer down here. So this is, so as you can see, I'm using Google Sheets wherever I can to pull the data through. So an obvious question would be, yes, I can do that, Andy. Let's do that. Think about how. Talk about the promoted clubs. Be something like that. I'll tweak it in a bit. The final countdown up. Yeah, maybe. What can do? It feels like could do that. Welcome to the final. Oh, no, I haven't done. I need to tell this that we're now in Game Week 38. There we go. That will update the video printer. Cool. So this page is now ready. So as soon as we're good to go, as soon as the clock turns around to 3 o'clock, I'll hit yes on all of these, which will initiate the league table and give me all the nil-nil so that I can stick into the ticker. So that's easy. Put that to no for now. And that's it. So this bit will be super ready to go. I guess the only thing I need to change now are my goal alerts. So this is manual. One main thing I couldn't do, so I do have to update this each week. But as you've seen over the weeks, everything that I put in each of these texts, so whether it's in the top one, which normally says goal, or in the one underneath, I can change these around. Now, also worth noting that I do not get any heads up on goals. I don't get any heads up on scores. So I am seeing all of these goals fly in exactly the same time that you guys are. So whenever anything does come up, I've either got to think really quickly, or you'll see that there's like a big delay before you see anything because my mind just isn't thinking. So red cards has been an interesting one in the last couple of weeks. I've set a bit of a precedent that I can't have a normal non-boarded or sent off for 2 yellow cards. So yeah, wrestling helps, especially when there's punches to faces. I can make that work. Yeah, so that's been an interesting one. And obviously when there's things like penalties missed. The only one I did get a heads up on was James's favourite Arsenal player's own goal a couple of weeks ago. Only with about 3 minutes to spare. I was like, got to do something. I always had a plan to make a really special graphic that like had his face come up, had some music playing in the background, just to troll James, but he might never let me use this again. So I thought I'd keep it simple and just laugh and just put lol when the own goal did go in. I thought that was quite funny. And yeah, so anytime any of these goals go in, or if there's a penalty, if it's missed, red card, I can mix it up here, which I think adds a bit to it. makes it a little bit more reactive, I guess. And yeah, then of course I could made my little United graphic. I can stay up there, but as you can kind of see, yeah, I thought you would have appreciated the creative quality of it, James. But yeah, no. Do you remember right at the very beginning? I toyed with actually putting up some lineups before the game week kicked off, with like a player's face in the middle of it for when they're if they're top scorer or top assist, like star man to watch, something like that. And you were like, yeah, we'll probably get some kind of copyright action against us for putting players' faces in. So yeah, thought about that as well when we were talking about the Campbell own goal. So yeah, one for another time. So that is pretty much it. No, exactly. We wouldn't have had the time, but it would have been quite cool. But to be honest, it's already, you can see it's a pretty substantial piece of work, but it was always done incrementally. So we always built, the stats came in quite a few, probably about 5 weeks afterwards actually. So yeah, we just had the scores for the first few weeks. The Vidi printer was relatively new, only after PlanetFPL Live, I think that one was brought in. But otherwise, yeah, we've kept it fairly similar. And that's a good thing, because it means it's still pretty easy to update. I think in hindsight, I think if we went back and did things like lineups and stuff, my game week or my work on this would start an hour early, adding in all the teams, and then it would just snowball and snowball. Would have been quite cool. And yeah, it'd be interested to see if there's anything we could do if there's a season 2. But yeah, as you can kind of see, there's quite a few cool bits you can do on here, and I hope that was a good little insight into how we run things. So actually, now that you've got the graphics up live, you can see all of these go in. You can see all of these prop up at the same time. So yeah, I'm just having a bit of a scan as well. So yeah, you can kind of see. Actually, I need to change these names. I won't do all of them. I'm quite pleased I've actually not got a player's name wrong yet. Yes, I've said that. Even the Tottenham defender that I really struggle every time it comes up, I have to copy and paste that one in. Bunjevic? I'm going to go with that. That one. That's tricky. Hariderson I can now spell. That's something I'm really proud of during this time. So yeah, if I just hit play on that one, as you can see, it just pops up. And yeah, even when something mad happens, we can quickly change it. So where does the Watford and Millwall promotion come up? I need to add it into my ticker, actually. Apologies, Andy. So let me do that. So how does that look? Yeah, just tax it onto the bottom there. Do we know the playoff result yet? Do you want to announce that before because the championship games, I guess? Oh no, they would normally happen after the final week of Prem anyway, wouldn't they? So yeah, it doesn't matter too much. Cool, so I've updated that, so that will take a minute or so to tick along. Oh yeah, sorry, that's what I was saying. So I could update the ticker and everything, could update itself just if I tell Singular where to look. But as you've seen with the video printer, sometimes it takes 30 seconds to a minute for it to update, because Singular's constantly pinging Google Sheets for more data. It's doing that all the time. So I think the more things that I've got pulling off this, the longer it takes for it to update. So I don't do everything. So just for the essence of speed, I just update these manually each time. It's super quick. It really does matter. But I did try it once, but yeah, it was just too slow, I thought. And those are the sort of things that a few people have called out when I've said, "Oh, I've not updated this goal." So I thought I'd try and have control over that. Okay, cool. watch the City and West Brom game on the Sunday stream. Nice. So that's pretty much it. We're set for next week. I'll change some of these, some of the team names. Need to make sure that doesn't remain as scenes. I'm sure nothing particularly special happened between Arsenal and Aston Villa. So yeah, I hope that was a bit of a good insight, I guess, into how we run things. The scope of Singular is pretty huge in terms of what you can do with it. A few people have asked me for things like their own gaming streams. On gaming streams in general, there is a lot of demand for overlays. So to actually have things that you can update the text and the graphics within the overlays is something quite cool. So yeah, where people have reached out, I've been more than happy to help. Yeah, I think it's just been a really cool tool, and I've been really grateful for being able to have the opportunity to not just do it, but sort of learn about it as well. And it's been really well received from the community and you guys. So, thanks so much for it. If you're a very quick one, if you are looking to have a little bit of a play around with this yourself, the website is singular.live. Simple as that. You can set up a free account, which is all I've done. That is literally all I've done. I've not paid for anything whatsoever. And what you can do is you can download themes essentially to use for free. So this is kind of where the start of my one came from, was utilizing a template and going, okay, so how do I adapt this to that, this to that? So you can download a free, this will probably take a while to bring this up, but I can do it very quickly. You can essentially use this then to base your own graphics off of it, and to get a little bit of inspiration. So this will come up slightly differently, but you can have, what have they got here? Sort of full screen images if you wanted to take over your whole screen with a graphic. What does that look like? There you go. Something cool like that you can then update everything within if you wanted to, all of the different lines of text, positions of images. That's quite cool. You could have a little banner that goes across the bottom. Yeah, this one's quite Sky Sportsy actually. I think it times the time in terms of transitions and stuff. So yeah, there's loads of cool stuff that Singular will do for you. So if you're interested in doing anything like that at all, jump on, stick on a free account, and yeah, have a play around really. So yeah, that's it. Thanks guys. A couple of thanks obviously to the founders of the game. This has been a really mad ride and something I think we will all remember season 1 of Champman for a very long time. All the engagement, all of the accounts jumping on to support the content, the stats, data behind the scenes, it's all been awesome. Likes of Whitebeard for helping out with the player stats each week, Talent Dean for the weekly stats, Scout for all the slightly trolley leaks, I'd say. I suppose I'm assuming that's all from Andy Martin. I wouldn't think the others would stoop like that. And then of course, James, thanks mate. Honestly, this has been it's been quality. It's been for responding to somebody who'd never spoken to before, who'd actually just really joined the community. You've made me feel super welcome. And the rest of the community has as well off the back of that. And yeah, thanks for your trust. I could obviously put whatever I want in these graphics, and I won't do. Don't worry. Don't get nervous. But yeah, it's been awesome. Been really appreciated. So yeah, if anybody wants to ask me any questions afterwards, obviously just hit me DMs up. And yeah, otherwise, thanks to everybody involved. Really looking forward to Game Week 38 tomorrow. And yeah, I hope that gave you a bit of insight as to when the little graphics pop up, you can picture me there, plugging away, or the Google Sheet, updating everything live essentially. I'm sure Dave gets involved with it as well, Andy. No, amazing. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the chat, and I will see you all tomorrow on stream. Take it easy, guys.